What's going on, everyone? It's your Rifle here, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you some tips in the Crota raid. The tips I'm going to be sharing with you is for the Deathsinger fight, the mini boss in Crota, right before you fight Crota. But before I start this, what can be very helpful and very useful is the damage type solar. I'm kind of a bad example for this because the only solar weapon that I have on me right now for this footage is the Yellowhorn. And the only reason is because I didn't really have a good solar weapon on this character. This is kind of like my mess around character, and a lot of my good weapons are on my main character, if that makes sense. So any type of solar weapons that you have that you believe are somewhat good, well then you want to take them to this fight. Solar is your friend here. You have to take over this fortress where the Deathsinger's at. And to take over this fortress, you're going to have to take on different stages of this area. By stages, I mean you're going to have to take on the wizards, then the shriekers, and then you have to worry about the Deathsinger. But the Deathsinger is surrounded by a bunch of enemies. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my advice to help you get it past this part. Some of you might have your own specific way on doing this, and if you've been doing it right and it works for you, well, keep doing what you're doing. I'm just going to share what has helped me along the way with fighting the Deathsinger. Anyways, to get this started, right before your team runs out of the tunnel, you want to make sure you tell your squad that you're going to be sending the wizards out early, so they know not to run up the staircase heading directly toward the wizards. They now know to run toward the back. Trust me, I learned that the hard way with not notifying my teammates that I was going to be releasing the wizards early. So what did they do? They ran up there and was like, I got these wizards, and then they died. So that's what can happen, and that can mess up the whole fight. So just tell your teammates, let them know, hey, get in position, get ready for the wizards, they're going to be coming soon. After you told your squad that, you then want to use an armor-piercing round sniper rifle, or the solar flare grenade. You can even use the dragon's breath because that can shoot out a solar flare as well. The solar flare grenade is able to reach the wizards without you even having to enter the room in the beginning. It gives you a head start in this fight. And the armor-piercing rounds with the sniper allow you to shoot through walls, but it has to be with the sniper rifle in order for the armor-piercing rounds to go through the wall. Doesn't matter if you have a hand cannon with armor-piercing rounds, that's not going to be shooting through the wall. You're going to need a sniper rifle. Anyways, all you have to do is shoot both wizards at least once, and the wizard will end up leaving the room, left or right side. Once you have done that, you then want to run out of this tunnel and get with your squad. Typically, from what I have played from personal experience, the wizards seem to go below the tower when you release them early. So get prepared for that if the squad's looking for the wizard, like I can't find them. Well then they could perhaps be underneath you in the tower because a lot of people stand up in the tower and they get ready for the wizard to come out. It can actually be kind of useful for an ally to be standing underneath the tower and one above the tower just so they are able to call out if the wizard does get underneath. Because the wizards can be kind of sneaky and you can lose track of them. But what I like to do after I shoot these, I like to come back to the back rocks where the sword holder normally jumps to the left or right rocks and then jumps up to attack Crota. Those are the rocks I am talking about. That is where you want to head at the very beginning of this fight. Once you have taken down one wizard and the other side isn't done taking on their wizard yet, I suggest to help them out just because progress seems to go a lot more smoother if we're all trying to focus at once. So that means 3 should head right and 3 should head left. If you're shorter than 6 players though, then you want to think about should you focus all at once on one wizard and then focus on the other wizard and then focus on the shriekers together, or should you still split up? I normally just go 3 and 3. 3 go right and 3 go left. Hopefully one of the people that are into 3 has heavy because heavy helps tremendously against the shrieker, and not to mention the wizard and Deathsinger. Hopefully a couple people in your squad have heavy ammo preserved. Now when you go into the room with the shrieker, typically you just want to send one person in that has heavy ammo because rockets seem to destroy the shrieker in 1 or 2 shots. Of course it is always good to go in with your ally because you are a distraction yourself. If there is 2 people going into the room, there is less fire going to be focused on one single person. You get what I'm saying? That other person comes in handy with taking damage, so it isn't all focused on you. Anyways, once you've gotten the shrieker down, that's when you want to escape out of the room. And then make sure you tell your squad that you've gotten one shrieker down. And if the squad has gotten the other shrieker down, well then now it's time to plan out how you're going to be getting to the Deathsinger. How I normally enter to the Deathsinger's area is I take the right path. And by right, I mean on your right when leaving the tunnel from the very beginning. Head toward that staircase. Because it seems like more enemies gather on the other side for some reason. It's a lot more chaotic over there. The Deathsinger feels like a rush because it is a rush. You are on a timer, but you don't exactly have to rush yourself. You can take your time. take simple steps, because if you rush yourself too much into that room, you're going to be feeling chaotic. Everything's going to be coming at you. Everything's going to be shooting at you. You're just going to be like, what in the heck's going on? What is going on? I need to find cover. I need to find safety. That's what typically happens if you just run straight into the Deathsinger area. But if you go in there as a squad, meaning if you go in there with the group that you have alive, you actually have a better chance to survive. Because they're acolytes, there's knights with swords, there's thrall running around. I don't know, there is a lot of enemies wanting to kill you. And if you're able to take out an acolyte or two, maybe toss a grenade or shoot one rocket, that could actually possibly save your life. The reason why is because those shots from the enemies are powerful. You don't really have to focus on the sword knights at all, just because they're not going to be able to reach you when you're standing up in this safe area. But it's not completely safe while there is still AI down there with guns able to shoot at you. So taking out a few enemies here and there can potentially help out, especially if the whole squad knows to take out an enemy here and there, or to distract them or weaken them in some way. In the vicinity near the Deathsinger, the hallway's in the center, not outside. It calms down the area more than you think it does. Also, if a Titan is on the squad, please be sure to remind them to lay down weapons of light. The reason why is because blessings isn't as important at this area, and the only reason why I think that is because you are in a rush to kill the Deathsinger, and weapons of light can help speed up that progress of the kill. What I like to do when I go into RU room, I like to stand up here on these balconies up here. Now if you're a blade dancer, make sure to use your super and turn invisible before entering so the acolytes and knights, whatever, are not shooting at you. Or use your blink vanish, attack something, go invisible, or just crouch. You know, the stalker perk on the blade dancer. Now for the warlocks. When you head in, make sure you have self-res on. Some of you are probably saying, well, that's kind of obvious. Come on now, Rifle. Well, some people actually don't realize that you need self-res. Well, you don't absolutely need it, but that is an excellent super to have at this part, just because it is so chaotic, and that second life normally does a lot of work. But if your warlock dies in like a whole crowded area, and when you self-res, of course try to find safety as fast as possible. And the area that I think is most safe here is once again on top of these doorways. But you want to make sure if there is a Titan on your squad to lay down weapons of light. Somewhere maybe on the coffin that you use to jump up onto these doorways, or down there in the center. You want to be able to get the weapons of light effect without it being distracting for your fire. And I know in this game it says we laid down Blessing of Light, but if you had to choose between those two, Weapons of Light is going to be more useful against Uryutes. We just laid down Blessing at the end of the Uryute fight, just so we could buy some time and turn invisible to get out of that chaotic area. It helps you refocus your thoughts once you end up killing Uryute, because it's still chaotic. You still got to be able to live, because you still have to kill off quite a bit of knights until you get your rewards. So even though Uryute's finally dead, that doesn't mean the fight is over. But the hardest part's taken out, and that's what I wanted to try to help you guys out with. Hopefully this video has been a little bit helpful for a lot of you guys. I just wanted to give you some tips that has helped me with this fight. If the video was enjoyable, please remember to leave a like. It is much appreciated by me, and I'm not trying to push it down your all's throat. I always like to leave a simple reminder at the end of the video. If the video wasn't enjoyable, well, you don't have to feel pressured to leave a like. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm out of here though, everyone. Thank you all for your time. Peace. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over the hard Crota's Inn raid. Well, in this video, I'm going to be covering a certain strategy to make this fight a lot more easier. And trust me, I know for sure, because I've had people that were struggling for a long time on it, and then switched to my game, told them about this strategy, and they're like, wow, this strategy actually makes progress go by more